Sup, you chuckle fucks? It's your boy Dark Ragu here with the What If Issei was the grandson of Yamamoto Part 3. Now, before I continue on with this what if, I should mention one thing. I have a small ass headache. Not really, I have kind of a headache. Now, it's probably because of the fact that I had to wake up like twice since I was falling asleep. Okay, after doing, mostly let me explain this. After doing What If Issei was the Frostburner Part 2, I went to go eat, then I came back and fell asleep for only 1 hour. But then mostly two of my annoying siblings came to just knock at my door. I woke up, I went outside, I saw the let me say it again. The bright ass sunlight literally smashed into my eyes, which it hurt like hell. I think I was blind for like a couple of seconds, but yeah. But not the point. Of course, as that, I went to just bring this fucking cake. Yes, I had to go buy a cake after a while. Not the point. I came back home. We ate the cake, whatever bullcrap. I was sleeping again, and then yeah, another fucking time someone knocked at the door, and I had to wake up again. Sunlight fucking smashed into my eyes, and yes, and then I fell back asleep. Finally, for a couple of hours, and then yeah, you get the point. That's probably the reason why I have kind of a headache. That or I just haven't really gotten any good sleep. Maybe that's the other reason, but not the point. But I really am not trying to tell you about my fucking life story about whatever bullcrap, but yeah. Now, before I continue on, I know someone said I should rest, I should like calm down in making these videos, and I just like sent you that link of I'll sleep until I'm dead. Yes, well, I did fall asleep. After you like send me that comment, I definitely sent you that link, and well, I did fall asleep. I passed the fuck out, but not the point. So let me just continue on. I'm sorry, rambling on, but let me just continue on. Let me begin into this what if. I really like doing the series, mostly because I have so many ideas popping into my head, but that is not the point here or there. Mostly when I actually like a series, usually multiple ideas will pop into my head, but that is not the point here or there. I will continue on with the other Monarch what ifs, but other than that, let me begin into this what if, and let me shut the fuck up. Now, let's begin into this what if. So, we begin into mostly Issei kind of getting ready. Now, Issei, I will mention what he kind of looks like. He kind of mostly... So, what he's actually wearing is a black kind of like button-up shirt with mostly a black coat on him. He's wearing like some... Okay, what he kind of looks like is basically Sanjin Woo, that one time where he like wears a black button-up shirt, black pants, and basically that black coat. Now... Also, he's wearing kind of black dressing shoes, but yeah. So that's what Issei is kind of wearing. This is where, well, he has his hairstyle to mostly being not that long most of the time. He needs to really get a haircut, but not the point. This is where, well, he just kind of just has it normally, but whatever. This is where, well, or not really normally. He kind of did kind of just like put his hair kind of slicked back. Of course, there was one like hair, mostly one bang that wasn't actually going back and being like pushed back slick, but instead just right now in front of him, which actually pissed him off a lot because he actually got reminded of Sosuke Aizen, but he really didn't care and didn't really have any more time to actually deal with this shit. But yeah, now he did get out of school mostly that day, because it was the day that he had to go on a date. But yeah, now he really didn't have any more time because he only went to the house to get ready. But yeah. Now, he knew that this fallen angel was probably not even going to show up that well. Probably they forgot. But whatever. He's just going to look good enough as he can be. But whatever. He gets towards mostly the place that he kind of just told him at mostly to be. It's kind of near the bridge, but not really. It's like near a store. Near a cafe, but yeah. Now, mostly Issei gets towards a cafe, and of course he sees no one. Just yet. He says, oh well shit, they forgot. This is where someone was giving out flyers, and this like mostly person gave out the flyer towards Issei, and he noticed it was none other than Gremory. Before the familiar can leave, Issei says, hold up bitch, no, before you go, take this flyer back, and I don't want it. I don't really care about any of that belief. This is where, well, Issei kind of just walk away. Now, he doesn't really give a damn if the familiar just tries to, like, do something, like use magic or something. Because mostly, if that happens, Issei is not afraid to burn them alive. because he doesn't care about devils in their relationship or whatever bullcrap they need with him. So yeah, because, well, yeah, piss him off, you're burning, but not the point. But we go into mostly Issei kind of just waiting for Yamamoto, or whatever her actual name is. This is where, well, he's sitting there waiting. This is where, well, mostly someone kind of appears. This is where they appear with having a nice, well, mostly she was wearing a pink kind of, well, mostly somewhat of a pink shirt that's a little bit buttoned up, mostly having 3 buttons. This is where, well, she has 2 of them buttoned while one of them is unbuttoned, mostly on her shirt, where near her cleavage, and she's showing a bit of cleavage. This is where, well, she has a black skirt and having, well, mostly black kind of heels. This is where, well, she's looking around trying to find Issei. Mostly when she's like looking around, Issei kind of just like waves to her. Mostly says, "Hey, Yuma." This is where, well, when Yuma kind of like looks towards Issei's direction, she kind of almost faints a little bit because of mostly what she's kind of wearing. It's not entirely all black. Mostly his black button-up t-shirt is actually mostly kind of having a little bit of gold and silver, like somewhat a design, but not the point. His coat entirely is having, well, mostly somewhat, it's like a, well, mostly it's somewhat like a coat. It's like 2 coats in one, being 1 black coat outside and 1 white coat inside. But yeah, this is where, well, he mostly, well, it's not really a white coat. Mostly it's a black coat that he wears over his mostly like white, mostly it's like a white jacket that he has, because he kind of has his hood on a little bit. That's just because he really doesn't care sometimes, if it ever rains. But yeah, this is where, well, mostly Yuma is actually blushing and kind of trying to look away, but she just can't stop staring at mostly how good he actually looks. And of course, where, well, he says, "What, do I have something on my face? I really didn't even eat that much. I was just drinking some coffee." This is where, well, Yuma shakes her head and says, No. This is where, well, she says, "You look great." He says, "You look fine. You look not bad yourself." This is where he said a compliment. He mostly gave her a compliment. Didn't really look at her kind of like body entirely. Just took a quick glance and really didn't care too much. This is where, well, he gets up. And this is where, well, he then kind of gives his kind of hand towards her. And of course, she looks at it like if it was some kind of like foreign language or something. This is where, well, he just said, "Aren't I supposed to like hold your hand or something on a date?" This is where Yuma kind of snaps and kind of shakes her head and said, "Yeah." This is where, well, she never actually expected to go on an actual date. She expected this person was supposed to be like a pervert, teenager, whatever. But of course, he's acting completely different. Now, he actually also has black shades on. She's confused why he has them, but yeah. Now, he has, well, mostly they're like not really black shades. They're like kind of, they're shades, but they're like kind of around. They're mostly a cylinder, like a circle. Similar to like that of Gojo's. But yeah, think of it like Gojo's when he was in, what's it called? It kind of looks like this way. So similar to that, they kind of look like this. But yeah, those round kind of glasses. Now, not the point here or there, but mostly he has them on, and this is where, well, Yuma's confused in why he has them on. This is where, well, she is not really complaining. It actually does make him also look quite good at the same time. This is where, well, Issei is saying, "So, where do you want to go?" This is where, well, mostly, Issei isn't really holding onto her hand. He just has his arm mostly next to her, and she's kind of grabbing it a little bit. Of course, she's kind of blushing a little bit at the same time, because he feels kind of warm also. That's probably because of the heat of Ryasu that he usually is always constantly giving out. But this time it's mostly a little bit more kind of hotter than normal, because he's wearing a jacket, but really, heat doesn't affect him too much. So that's why he's wearing this outfit, and yet heat really doesn't affect him. This is where, well, it's kind of making Yuma kind of hot. And this is where, well, she kind of looks at Issei, and this is where, well, Issei says, "Hello." This is where, well, he just gave her a question, like, where does she want to go? This is where, well, she kind of snaps out and says, "Oh, let's just go towards the mall." This is what she says. Issei says, "Sure." This is where, well, we go into mostly them going to the mall. Now, this is where, well, they kind of like go towards the clothing shop, even though Issei doesn't really like clothing too much. Well, he does like it. He kind of does wear mostly some clothes that he usually just likes, because he usually is dripped out most of the time. Well, not most of the time. any special occasion, he will have to wear kind of nice clothes, which she doesn't hate it or doesn't mind too much. So yeah. Also the fact that he usually buy like jacket, hoodies, and other things just so people won't bother him and actually trying to see his face, because he usually wearing a hoodie, a jacket, or whatever. You get the point. But that is not the point here or there. This is where, well, they're mostly kind of going through shirts and other things, and this is where, well, Issei is kind of seeing the shirts that mostly Yuma is trying to like pick out. This is where, well, Yuma doesn't really know the style or clothing of what Issei is wearing. Pretty much she doesn't know most of the material. Well, she kind of felt it, and it feels like actual good material that he's actually wearing. So she doesn't know if these cheap kind of clothing will actually be for his good taste. She doesn't even know if this person's actually either rich or is just his family. This is where, well, Issei doesn't seem to mind in whatever she picks. Really, he doesn't care too much. He is kind of rich, I'm not gonna lie, but it's not here or the point, whatever. Let me just go back into what if. So, we go into mostly Yuma kind of picking out the clothes and kind of trying to see if he likes it or not. Which Issei doesn't really mind and says, quite adorable. Doesn't work well. Mostly Yuma is kind of blushing a little bit, but yeah, looking away most of the time. When every time Issei give her a compliment or something like that. Doesn't work well. We go into mostly what she kind of wears. This is where, well, or what she's kind of like showing some clothing to see if Issei would pay attention, or just pay attention to her body, because she doesn't know if this person is still a pervert or not. This is where, well, Issei says, I would say the blue shirt's pretty good. Maybe the yellow one. Don't know. Maybe that'll actually match up with your name, since your name is considered mostly sundown, doesn't it? Doesn't work well. Mostly Yuma kind of nodded, saying, yeah, the yellow one does make sense. It's kind of a yellowish, kind of reddish, orangey one. And this is where, well, mostly Yuma is very just content to hear mostly what Issei's. He's not too much just staring at her like an original canon, instead of just basically kind of giving her ideas and what outfit she should wear, that, whatever. Not really, well, it's kind of ideas, giving out ideas, not really suggestions. Well, at the same time, suggestions, but it's not really like asking her, demanding her to wear this or whatever, or just not really caring too much in whatever she wears. But whatever. This is where, well, she has some couple of like bags with her. This is where, well, Issei goes to a jewelry place for a second. Of course, where, well, Yuma was looking somewhere else, thinking that she should probably get some food, and was about to ask Issei until Issei was gone for a second, and then she was confused. She's like, where the heck did he go? This is where, well, Issei tapped on her back of her, mostly back, and this is where she shivers up, and when she turns around, she sees Issei. This is where Issei says, here. You will probably hate it. Or, it's not, he didn't really go into a jewelry shop. There was actually just like a small little shop where some kind of sell jewelry. And this is where, well, Issei says, here. This is where, well, Issei kind of gives her something on her hand. This is where, well, he kind of just said, give me your palm. This is where, well, mostly she nodded. And this is where, well, he kind of, well, not her palm, mostly he said, can you, like, put your hair up for a second? This is where, well, she was confused until mostly Issei put something around her neck. This is where, well, he puts it on there, and this is where, well, it has a small little gem. The gem is kind of like a pinkish magenta, kind of like orangey and blackish at the same time. Mostly the metal is kind of blackish, similar to that for hair, with the same time the gem is kind of like magenta kind of color. This is where she was confused, and this is where, well, she was blushing even more. She then looks at Issei, looking at him if he was kind of crazy or something. This is where, well, Issei looks at her and says, well. This is where, well, she looks at Issei with saying, wasn't this expensive? Issei kind of looks at the receipt and says, mostly it was like 13,000, but why? This is where her eyes widen in an instant, saying, no, I want you to return it. This is where, well, she, mostly in her fallen angel side, she would have actually loved to keep it, but mostly this thing costs way too much. This is where, well, Issei looks at her, and then looks at mostly the person kind of says, basically, Issei said, sure, I return it. This is where, well, she felt for a second like shocked and distraught for a second. Even the person just looks at Issei with just mostly a confused look, but mostly saw the shock and disappointment on mostly Yuma's kind of face. This is where, well, Issei says, so, can I return it or is there a policy? This is where, well, mostly the person says, there is a policy. you need to return it within mostly 30 days, a guarantee. Well, not 30 days. Just wait 30 days. And then this is where, well, before he continues on, he says, oh, well, I guess I lost the receipt, didn't I? This is where, well, Issei grabs the receipt and kind of just rips it into millions of pieces and then burns it in an instant. And no, he didn't use any magic or real, so he literally just pulls out a lighter and nowhere and just burns it. This is where Issei says, I don't know where the paper went. This is where, well, mostly Yuma's face becomes actually more reddish entirely. And this is where, well, every other person that saw this, because there was other people going on a date, were kind of jealous of the fact that how Issei just pretty much gave Yuma a kind of like something nice and kind of beautiful for her beauty. And this is where, well, guys were shocked to ever believe Issei to get a date. Well, some of them, because this person looks way too good looking. Mostly Issei is considered to be way too good looking, and even Rainer. For the guys and girls comments. Now the girls are kind of jealous because they see kind of, well, see Rainer or / Yuma kind of getting something nice. This is where Yuma kind of just glanced at mostly everyone else and just wanted to stick out her tongue to say that basically her boyfriend actually got her something nice. Even until she kind of realized that she considered Issei to actually be a boyfriend. Even though this is kind of a mission. She's actually kind of wondering if she should actually kill him or not. She's basically thinking in her head until this where, well, Issei snaps at her and says, hey, are you okay? Besides, it seems that I lost the receipt and I can't return the, what's it called, necklace. The person, mostly the jewelry person, just smirks and kind of just chuckles a little bit. Of course, he kind of just like looks at Yuma and kind of gives her a wink. And this is where, well, mostly Yuma kind of nodded, blushing a little bit. And how her kind of consider one day boyfriend is kind of very considerate for her. And yet, she doesn't know what to do with her. This is where, well, it says, I feel kind of famished. Want to go get something to eat? This is where Issei says, this is where Rainer steps out, or mostly Yuma kind of says, yeah. This is where, well, we go into mostly a burger place. This is where, well, Issei is kind of eating the burger, while mostly Yuma is keep glancing at Issei. Issei doesn't eat too like, mostly like a pig too much. He eats quite normal, like if he was some kind of noble. But yet he isn't too stick up, prickish, or even arrogant or prideful. He acts mostly like a normal teenager, but yet has this kind of like novelty kind of side to him. She doesn't know too much about him. Actually, is he even considered to be human? Yet she can't feel any demonic energy because mostly devils are kind of the richest kind of like side where like they get something rich or any of that. They're kind of like, they buy anything like jewelry or any of that stuff. Yet Issei is considered enough to be a devil. She's confused, but yet she's wondering who exactly Issei is. Is he a human from a noble clan family of a human side, or is he something else? She can't understand too much of Issei, but yeah. But we go into mostly Yuma kind of snapping out when Issei says, are you not hungry? This is where, well, mostly Yuma kind of say, yeah, I am. This is where she eats. Of course, this is where she keeps taking some small glances at Issei, but yeah. But we go into mostly a time skip after, well, all the whole shopping around the mall and other stuff. She would actually like to buy something for Issei, like a ring or something, or probably a necklace the same kind of like price of like this, well, necklace that he basically bought for her. But she doesn't want to expose that she's basically the supernatural way too early for on the date. So of course that's not happening. But of course we go into mostly the park later on. Now of course everything has kind of went dark, and of course they're near the water fountain just like in Original Canyon. And of course Rainer was actually thinking of now revealing herself to be Rainer. Of course she was hesitating, but this is where, well, before she can actually do it, she was about to like tell Issei to kind of, well, mostly ask him to kind of ask him to do something for her. And this is where, well, she was about to do it until mostly Issei kind of sent something super fast. Mostly something that was coming out of really in blinding speed, at the same time releasing some Ryotsu. Now of course Yuma could not react to it, but of course this is where, well, Issei could. This is where Issei managed to push Yuma out of the way. This is where Yuma was confused until a sword right now stabs upon Issei. Now of course in front of him. Like this is where, well, it kind of looked like this. So basically, like stabs into his chest, and this is where, well, blood should have spilled out mostly from the back because a blade was actually launched into his back, well, mostly piercing through, like probably hitting some organs and hitting him from the back. And this is where, well, Issei coughed up a little bit of blood. Right now, falling upon mostly a mask. Mostly, it should have fell down upon a face, but it was actually a mask. And then the mask kind of looks like to be like a what's it called, a deer, well, not a deer, like a male deer that has kind of those antlers, and of course the face and other things, but it's like the skeleton version, of course, like the face. And this is where, well, the antlers is kind of halfly broken, like one of them is broken, the other one is kind of like full mature. And this is where, well, of course, blood like falls down onto the white blank mask. And this is where, well, it does have like, mostly this person seems to have a fur coat, the sword kind of sticking out of mostly Issei's kind of like body. And this is where, well, Issei's coughing up a little bit of blood. This is where, well, Yuma was confused, but when she gets up, she sees her kind of, well, mostly boyfriend gets stabbed. This is where she widened her eyes in an instant. She felt pain in her heart in an instant. She didn't really want to kind of kill Issei because he was quite nice, gentle, and of course, not really much of a pervert. Really didn't stare at her too much. But this is where, well, it also gave her a lot of compliments. And yet, mostly this person got stabbed by something else. Something different. Yet she couldn't feel any magic from this being. This is where, well, Issei coughed up and said, "You're in the wrong card, aren't you?" This is where, well, he coughed up a little bit more blood. This is where, well, the person grins, and this is where, well, he then managed to push Issei, well, not Issei, mostly, bleh. Let me say that again. Push Issei straight, like, backwards, mostly kind of, like, kick Issei in the stomach so hard with his leg, and of course kind of like taking the blade out of mostly Issei's kind of chest. This is where kind of pushing him straight into mostly out of kind of mostly since it is kind of the park, kind of pushing him out of the park and smashing him into a wall in what's it called, like a building. But yeah, this is where Yuma screams out, "Issei!" Now this is where, well, of course Issei smashed into a building, and this is where, well, the walls kind of collapsing. This is where, well, the creature itself, or a humanoid creature, mostly what Yuma's kind of POV. This is where, well, she's confused, but this is where, well, the humanoid creature laughs and says, "Wow, that was so easily killing you. Wow, so pathetic you are. I thought you would be his grandson, but yet you're so pathetic." This is where, well, before he can even go any further, this is where, well, mostly Yuma tries to attack him with basically a light spear. Even though she shredded half her clothing by actually revealing her kind of fallen wings, she tried to attack this creature with a, well, mostly light spear. But this is where, well, the creature itself actually cut the light spear with his sword. This is where, well, he grins with such a vicious grin actually appearing. Mostly the mask seems to be kind of covering up his like eyes and mostly like upper face. But underneath his face is basically a vicious grin. Mostly a sharp kind of vicious grin, but yeah. And to where, well, Yuma's confused, but she felt like she kind of lost against this person or whatever. She felt overwhelmed with this blood, well, not overwhelmed, mostly overwhelmed with this bloodlust kind of coming off this person. This is where, well, before anything happened, mostly he was grinning like a madman and saying, "Well, I don't really care about you. You're not someone that I'm targeting. I'm targeting him. Now, if you don't mind me, I'm gonna go kill him. No, goodbye." This is where he disappears from mostly Reiner's view, and this is where, well, she screams and says, "No!" This is where, well, Issei's kind of body is shown. Of course, he's bleeding from mostly his chest, and of course, his coughing and bleed of blood. And this is where, well, the person says, "Well, time for you to die." This is where, well, Reiner is still trying to make light spears, but of course, she feels afraid. She can't do anything. She feels kind of weak and pathetic to actually fight against this creature. This is where, well, she really doesn't want to call this person, but she doesn't even know if this person will hurry up to get here fast enough. This is where, well, she sees mostly the only person that seems to actually care about her right now about to die against this person. This is where, well, before anything happens, the sword launches down. Mostly the person was actually going to decapitate, what's it called, Issei's head, until mostly something stops the sword by actually catching it. It was none other than Issei. Issei said, "Well, did you think you can kill me? This is where, well, Issei showed his face straight towards mostly the Arrancar. His face now has a mask. A black kind of bluish mask appears on top of his, like, face. Mostly his, like, right side of his face, but yeah. But of course, where, well, the Arrancar was confused until the sword was catching. This is where, well, he sees Issei's face like growing a mask. But this mask is kind of like blackish and bluish color. It kind of looks like this, right here. And this is where, well, wait. This is where, well, mostly the Arrancar is confused until he hears this cackling from mostly Issei. He's now laughing with an insane grin. This is where, well, before the Arrancar can even dodge, dodge, an upper slash actually appears. This is where, well, he was confused from the black blade appears on Issei's kind of right hand. This is where the black blade is kind of emitting this kind of bluish flames. This is where, well, the Arrancar managed to dodge a little bit, but this is where his like clothing was actually singed and burned, and of course his chest was also kind of having a third-degree burned kind of slash. This is where he grits his teeth and glares at mostly the now known kind of hollow Issei. This is where, well, but this is where, well, mostly the Arrancar looks at and glares at mostly Issei. This is where Issei is cackling. Is it? You think that you can kill him? I am not letting you kill him. Besides, it's quite a convenience for me to not let you kill him, since he is the person I'm trying to take control of. Cat. This is where, well, the Arrancar says, what are you? What am I? Isn't the better question, who am I? Well, I'll tell you who am I. The name is... Well, I already have a name. Maybe I think about it when I kill you, and then I tell you the very end. How about that? This is where, well, mostly Issei's glasses already fell down. Like, they were basically next to Yuma because, well, Yuma, that was the only way to actually... She was actually holding on to his glasses and kind of crying until she felt the sinister energy, and when she looked up, it's none other than Issei. Issei is completely different. He has a mask appears on his, like, right side, and of course, mostly a black sword actually appears on his, like, right hand. This is where, well, the sword is completely black, and of course, it does kind of have this, like, ribbons actually appear, like, at the very, like, near the handle. But they're on flames right now. They're on bluish flames. And the sword is kind of, like, emitting this kind of, like, bluish, but kind of purplish flames at the same time. This is where, well, but they're quite dark. This is where, well, mostly his eyes, one of them is actually became purple, the other one is kind of purple also, with the mask, mostly, yeah, of course, mostly the white in his eye is now black, and this is where, well, the Arrancar is glaring at, well, the new, now known as hollow form, or kind of looks like a visor, because he knows about the visors, but yeah. He glares at, well, mostly Issei, and says, what the hell are you? I thought you were his grandson. Well, who and what are you exactly? Oh, didn't I already tell you? I'm not gonna tell you until you're dead, right below me. This is where, well, Issei disappears in an instant, reappears right in front of, well, the Arrancar, right now swinging his sword down, and this is where a gulf of blue flames appear with the sword when it hits down the ground. This is where, well, the Arrancar managed to dodge, and of course, anything that was behind him burns. Of course, it didn't hit Rainer, because Rainer saw this and managed to jump out of the way. Bluish flames kind of ignite kind of the park and hitting a tree. Right now, turning it into a bluish flame tree. Kind of burning it, but yeah, not the point. This is where, well, Rainer ran her eyes and seeing the battle between mostly the Arrancar, or she doesn't even know what this is, mostly the kind of reindeer-looking mask person versus Issei, who is right now probably not himself, but she doesn't understand. She thought that she was dating someone who had a sacred gear. This is not feels like a sacred gear. It feels quite strange. It's not even demonic. It's much more sinister than that. This is where, well, we go into Issei, who's right now not even in control. This person's actually like a hollow similar to that, like Ichigo's. Kind of saying, well, aren't you going to fight back? Come on, fight back, why don't you? This is where, well, the Arrancar is trying to dodge, and he doesn't know if his sword will be able to kind of clash with the sword of Issei, because Issei's sword is completely black. It kind of reminds of Ichigo's blade, but it also kind of emits this blue and kind of like purplish flames. This is where, well, mostly he's trying to dodge, but every time the sword swings around, it kind of engulfs like blue flames, trying to engulf it. This is where, well, he's dodging and saying, damn you bastard! What the hell are you? I don't care what you are. You just have to die. He tries to slash down straight towards Issei. Issei manages to catch the sword and say, huh? Me? Die? Oh, please. I'm not gonna die anytime soon. How about you die? This is where when he catches the sword, his hand right now engulfs the sword with flames, purplish flames. And this is where he launches a purplish flame hand straight towards mostly the Arrancar. The Arrancar managed to jump, mostly swing his sword out of, Issei's grasp. But of course, he also had to jump away from a purplish flame like claw about to grab him. This is where, he used some needles to try to get away. Who's where? Well, he glares at mostly Issei, and Issei is looking at him with saying, huh? Are you really trying to get away from me? You know that's quite bad for you to get away. Come on, just burn already. I want to burn your body. I want to turn into ashes. Come on, don't run away from me. This old poor little old me, you're running away. That's where, the Arrancar glares at how mostly this person's right now playing with him. This is where, we go into a couple of people POV. Now, they're not even kind of all, not really, I want to say related, but they're not really all together on a team. Pretty much, these people are separate. There's kind of devils that are watching this, mostly two devil heiresses that are watching this, and they're quite shocked to see Issei completely looking different. And right now, fighting against this thing. Now, this thing doesn't have magic, and neither does Issei has any magic. He's not using magic at all. They're basically both using Realsu, but no one knows about the existence of Realsu. Then there's other people. Some of them are actually interested in seeing this. Now, of course, they are not sure if their weapons will be able to cut down both of these people. Even though they have sinister magics, they're not considered demonic magic at all. Instead, it's quite... Their power is... Well, they can't really tell. They can't sense Realsu at all. None of these people can sense it. But they're watching this battle right now, behold. Now, of course, luckily no humans are anywhere near this place, this park right now. Because, yeah. Now, this is where the Arrancar is glaring at Issei and says, you think I'm just a weakling against you? I'll show you I'll take you down so easily and kill you and burn you alive with your own weapon. This is where, mostly Issei, who right now seems to be possessed, saying, burn me with my own weapon? I'd love to see you try, you pathetic weakling. Nah. This is where, mostly the person grits their teeth and says, die already! Rushing at mostly Issei with mostly this burning rage in his eyes. And this is where, he swings his sword down to try to cut down Issei's mostly arm. But this is where Issei manages to dodge, and this is where he swings one of his swords straight towards the arm where the sword was at. Mostly the person's sword. And of course, manages to take off the guy's arm and right now grinning and saying, so what was that? Trying to kill me with my own weapon? Oh, please. If you could ever do something like that. Mostly the person grits their teeth, but this is where, he grabs the blade, mostly not the blade, he kind of grabs the handle of the blade with his mouth and then uses his other hand to kind of crush the blade itself and says, resurrection in an instant. He screams out that kind of title name or whatever, mostly resurrection. Mostly to resurrect his powers, similar to what all Arrancars can do, but yeah. This is where, an explosion of power actually appears, and this is where, Issei had to stab into the ground, and this is where not to be pushed back away. He's also using a bit of Realsu, so he won't be pushed back neither way. This is where, when he looks up, he sees this kind of, huge buff monster, but of course, where, it kind of looks to be like a minotaur mixed with just other things. Of course, his head is kind of having the kind of antler, the kind of deer, kind of the deer skull head, but yeah, the male deer's kind of head or whatever. But it kind of looks like a Wendigo. That's what it kind of looks like, if you want to think about it like that. This is where, mostly that is kind of what they call happening right now. And this is where, mostly the now known as a Arrancar is now a Vasto Lord. This is where, he's roaring at Issei. This is where, the now known as, possessed Issei is kind of grinning and saying, huh? Are you about to fight me? Well, quite interesting. Well, let's see if you can take me on that. This is where, the big monster appears right in front of mostly the possessed Issei, which mostly he grits his teeth and says, igniting blue flames! He swings his sword up and right now engulfing the giant monster with blue flames. But this is where the giant monster managed to kind of just tank the pain and right now grab Issei. This is where trying to crush its body. This is where, well, the giant monster has an evilish grin, but this is where, well, mostly this evil, well, mostly possessed Issei is kind of screaming out in pain a little bit until he grits his teeth, and mostly grins with such a vicious grin, saying, "Oh, do you think I'm such in pain? Well, I'm not. I'm going to show you what my flames can do." Also, you can call me Dobby. I thought of the name and decided to call myself Dobby instead of Issei. But that is not the point here or there. This is where he basically uses purple flames around his body to try to burn out of mostly the grasp of mostly the Vasto. The Vasto screams in pain, glares at Issei, but this is where Issei disappears. And right now, well, not Issei, mostly Dobby. And this is where Dobby then launches another blue flame slash right towards the Vasto, saying, "Die already! Burn it to hell!" This is where, well, he's burning, well, mostly the Vasto with multiple blue slashes. Mostly blue flame slash, and this is where, well, the Vasto is screaming in anger and pain. This is where, well, he managed to kind of push through and punch mostly Dobby in the face, mostly punching him, sending him straight to a wall. This is where, well, we go into Issei. We go into mostly Dobby. Dobby is managing to kind of push out of, well, the crater, and this is where he grits his teeth and "Why you? Son of a..." This is where, well, he felt something is actually waking in his body. This is where Dobby says, "No! Stay back and go back to sleep. I can do this. I am the one who's going to do this. I'll show you that you need me." This is where, well, mostly Dobby's other hand, being his left hand, right now reaches up to the mask, and this is where, well, he right now grabs a sword and says, "Stop it! You need me!" This is where Dobby is screaming out loud. Of course, mostly everyone that's watching this were confused. This is where, well, mostly we go into Issei's mind, saying, "Get out of my body!" This is where Dobby says, "Stop it! Stop it!" This is where he's mostly swinging the sword randomly, and mostly Rainer is seeing this. So, of course, she was not truly in the crossfire because someone actually grabbed her to get her out of the way. And this is where, well, mostly a girl with white hair and kind of like goldenish eyes. But this is where, well, kind of both of them is seeing this battle between mostly Issei or whoever the hell is this person, because this person says it's Dobby, not Issei. And this is where, well, Dobby saying, "Stop it! Stop it now! You need me! Stop it!" This is where, well, mostly Issei said, "Get out of my body!" This is where, well, he keeps screaming at Dobby, "Stop it! Stop it! You need me! You can defeat this weakling with me! Stop it already!" This is where, well, screw you and get the hell out of my body! He rips off the mask, and this is where a screech actually appears. But this is where, well, his eyes went back to normal, mostly Issei's eyes. He stabs a sword to the ground, and this is where Issei is taking basically a deep breath. This is where the Vasto actually stop after confusement, but this is where, well, mostly he looks at now the Shinigami, mostly the somewhat, he knows this person is a Shinigami, but yet he's confused. He was watching this whole thing in confusement. He could have attacked any time, but he was confused a little bit. You see he's breathing out heavy, but this is where, well, his eyes, instead of being a purplish or bluish color, is now kind of a goldenish and silver color. This is where, well, Issei kind of grins and saying, "Sorry you had to watch that. Sorry if you felt kind of uncomfortable on watching that whole little situation. Well, I'm back to normal. And this time, I'm gonna kick your ass so hard that you're gonna definitely stay in hell." This is where, well, Issei's voice is different now from mostly the high-pitched, kind of screeching, kind of raspy voice, which mostly people were confused and kind of uncomfortable with mostly Issei's voice kind of being different. But this voice is now deeper and more menacing than normal. Mostly Issei's voice is back to normal, somewhat normal, even though it's a little bit more scary than now. But they can't tell which voice would be scarier. They're both sinister, the same kind of scary tone. But this is where, well, Issei's kind of power, kind of, right now, his body is kind of emitting this kind of, well, mostly kind of, not emitting, yeah, emitting this kind of like goldenish kind of aura color, but it's basically just flames around his body kind of being different, instead of being the bluish or purplish flames that were kind of sinister, but instead of this goldenish kind of light flame kind of colors appearing, even silverish color, but not the point. This is where, well, Issei disappears in an instant, like flash steps and disappears and reappears right in front of this, well, mostly Vasto, punching him in the face so hard, right now with golden flames fists. This is where, well, punching him straight down to the ground. Issei landed right now on the ground and kind of grins and saying, "Oops, Did I do something like that? Well, I wasn't expecting my fist to actually smash into your face and do that much damage. Well, whatever. Does it work? Well, the Vasto Lord ran screeching in anger and saying, "Roar!" He's right now just in angry tone. Does it work? Well, he rushes, he gets back up and tries to crush Issei with one of his arms, and Issei manages to dodge out of the way. And this is where, Issei kind of sees a piece of string, but for some reason he felt like a different aura from it, until mostly someone with orange hair kind of realized that she basically dropped something. And this is where she looks at one of her kind of like friends and kind of switch up and says, "Oops, I think I dropped that." This is where some of them just kind of glares at her and just deadpans at the same time, realizing that this idiot really just dropped it. This is where Issei picks up this piece of string until it appears to be like a sword. It's none other than Excalibur kind of rabbit, but Issei doesn't really know about the name and doesn't really care about it. It kind of has its holy property a little bit, but he can actually pick it up thanks to golden flames actually appearing around the sword. It seems to be able to kind of possess some of the goldenish flames, but it can melt still the sword, but not the point. This is where, he doesn't care. He uses some of his goldenish flames to go upon the sword, and this is where, the sword is now kind of brightly kind of glowing. This is where, if it was like an actual Excalibur, like the actual Excalibur, but it's not. Issei doesn't care, and this is where, he's not picking up the other sword, the black sword, so of course he uses the sword instead to try to cut down, mostly the crazy Vasto Lord. The Vasto Lord is rushing straight towards Issei to try to crush him, but this is where Issei disappears and reappears, slashing him in his chest. This is where golden flames appears on his chest, mostly the Vasto Lord, screeching in anger, and this is where he tries to swing his right hand to try to take out Issei. But this is where that is kind of happening, and this is where he kind of tries to swing his head down to try to crush Issei at the same time. But Issei disappears, and of course he uses a bit of his goldenish flames to just swing around mostly this huge body. Right now cutting it with mostly Excalibur rabbit, with having the goldenish flames. But yeah, this is where, that is happening, and this is where, mostly the Vasto are screeching in anger, roaring in right now frustration and anger. Of course, his arm, his leg, and even other pieces around his body has been burned and actually roasted and destroyed until he had to transport back into the wrong card. But this time, instead of transforming into a wrong card, he just transformed into a smaller Vasto Lord. Right now having more power than normal. Right now screeching in anger, but this time he can talk words. "You son of a bitch! I should have been able to kill you. What the hell are you? Are you a Shinigami or not?" This where, he also feels like he kind of got the power of hell for a second, which he did. He kind of had a little bit of power that's kind of similar to that of hell. He had a relic, and this is where, that's why he could actually use some flames appearing around his body. This is where, Issei felt this and says, "What the hell? Did you got the power of hell within you?" This is where, the Vasto Lord, almost the wrong card, whatever this person's name is, mostly grins and says, "Of course, I stole something from hell and managed to kind of, be able to use it. Now I have hell flames, and with these flames I will burn you alive." Issei grits his teeth and says, "You son of a bitch. So you're telling me you stole something from hell? And does that mean you're actually from hell in the first place?" "Oh, yes, but I managed to escape. You see here, I managed to escape after, that Kurosaki brat managed to kind of use Vasto Lord at one time. Of course, I don't care about it. I managed to hide out and became a bounty hunter, but that is not the point here or there. With these powers, I would definitely kill you. I'll make sure I'll kill you so I can get revenge on that bastard, that old man." This is where, what was his name? What was his name? He was the head captain, all I remember. This is where Issei said, "Now that you actually mentioned your appearance and details and most of the other things, it kind of does remind me of that one sword that my grandfather told me. Mostly that monstrous figure. I don't remember his name and I don't care about it." This is where, the person grits his teeth and says, "I'm going to kill you, and then I'll kill you and everyone you ever love. And where the hell's that bitch so I can actually kill her right in front of you? Are you talking about Yuma? Well, I wouldn't even let you kill her. Even though me and her are probably different species, I still wouldn't let you kill her. So with that, I will send you to hell." and let you stay there in the depth, in the 9 realms in depth. Well, mostly in the 9 realms of hell, I will send you back. This is where, well, mostly Vasto Lorde says, bring it on if you can. He swings mostly a bunch of like flame spears straight towards Issei, which Issei just swings his sword down, and right now golden flames appears destroying him. This is where, well, Issei right now tries to actually use his like head, mostly use a bit of Ryotsu, but this is where, well, he's trying to connect to the hell, mostly the hell gates. And this is where, well, hell gates actually appear right in front of him. This is where, well, mostly the Vasto Lorde stopped attacking, but he was confused how hell gates even appear right in front of Issei. There's no way to actually appear to them until he died. But this is where, well, he then sees hell gates open, and this is where a large kind of grayish arm appears. What Issei kind of asked, he basically begged and asked for the gate, for mostly the hell gate to appear in front of him to kind of give him power to send this bastard back to the 9 realms of hell. This is where, well, the hell gates decide to allow him to have some of the power, or someone allows him to have some of the power from a warden. This is where a warden arm actually appeared. Now, if you're talking, if you're thinking about the wardens from Minecraft, they do not look like wardens from Minecraft. I'm talking about these wardens, basically. These creatures, they're mostly, if I can remember right, in the anime, they call them wardens, or probably this name, I can't remember, but they look like these creatures right here. Kind of buff creatures with some somewhat armor, but not the point. For right now, I'm going to just call them wardens, but this is where an arm reaches out, and this is where golden light actually appears around Issei's body. This is where, well, it then kind of, armor appears to be like golden, kind of like skeleton armor, but this is where golden flames kind of appear around it, to kind of giving it kind of like goldenish flame kind of armor instead. Kind of still having that skull figure, but yeah. This is where, well, the hell of, mostly the gates actually disappeared, the hell gates disappeared, and this is where, well, the Vasto Lorde was confused until he sees now Issei's body looking different. This is where Issei glares at mostly the Vasto Lorde, and the Vasto Lorde says, what the, how did you, no, this is impossible. How did you have that power? I said, no, this is impossible. This is where, well, he just says, it's not impossible. All the evil and all the crimes you have done, I'll send you back to the 9 realms of hell. You think I'm scared of you? I am not! This is where he pulls out a sword right now, creating it out of hell flames, and trying to stab it upon Issei. This is where Issei swings his sword down, the kind of Excalibur kind of rapidly, and this is where, well, golden flames actually appear like a golden slash, like a huge golden slash with kind of golden flames appear right now, slashing at what's it called? The Vasto Lorde, and of course these mostly this giant slash right now just goes through him, and of course just behind him just destroys anything that appears. This is where every person wanted their eyes, and some people that were over there kind of watching had to just jump away because he almost got hit. Luckily it didn't reach to any humans. This is where the person's right now coughing up blood, but this is where chains disappear, like smart chains that he had. This is where, well, he says, am I free? I'm free! Well, at least I'm free a bit more. I'm able to move a little bit more. And my power, I feel it more being flowing through in my body. This is where he looks at mostly Issei with mostly a grin until mostly he sees Issei's eyes being a dullish color and saying, you think you're free? Well, I guess you think you're free, but you're not. I will send you to the depths, mostly the depths of hell. Being, well, yeah, the depths of hell. I will send your sentence back to, well, reset it back. This is where, well, this time you'll be sitting there in hell for about 1 million years. That's how long you will be in there. And this time, you will stay there. No one will free you. And no one shall free you at all. This is where, well, mostly chains started appearing behind, what's it called? Mostly the Vasto Lorde, and the Vasto Lorde widened his eyes until goldenish flame chains actually wrap around his body, saying, no, you can't do this to me, no, we are both the same. We are not the same, this racer said. You bastard, when I get out of here, I will get my revenge. Issei Hiro. No, this is where he doesn't say Issei Hiro. Issei Yamamoto. You regret my words. This is where, well, mostly the chain started kind of pulling him back to hell. This is where, well, basically bringing him into the hole and just pulling him straight down to all the way to hell. But yeah, past the underworld, past, well, what's it called, Hades, and just all the way to hell. But yeah, mostly Hades was confused. He felt that power, and he remembers hell. This is where it's not a very fun place to go to. But he sees the holes kind of disappearing. Even up in the, well, back into Issei's POV. And of course, mostly the giant hole, the huge crater slash, right now repairs itself with cold and flame chains kind of attaching mostly the earth back together. Instead of that splitting kind of earth. This is where, well, Issei said, well, thank you again, what's it called? Hail Gate-sama. I know it's terrible for me to always ask for your power. But at least I'm happy that you actually helped me out. Then again, you did help me out. Or help mostly Ichigo-san. Or mostly Big Brother Ichigo. Or, yeah, Big Brother Kurosaki. That's not the point. I promise I'll give you back the powers if I ever see you again. Mostly, not ever see you again. Mostly if I ever kind of visit hell. Which I'm not going to go visit hell because it's kind of a scary ass place to go. So, not happening until you come over here and do it yourself. But whatever. This is where, well, Issei's form, the goldenish flames, and the skull disappears. This is where, well, his body just returns back to normal. Of course, this time he's wearing a Shinigami kind of uniform for a second. And this is where, well, Issei said, I thought the Shinigamis would be next to me. Where the hell are they? Did they already die? Please tell me my grandfather didn't set two, or mostly idiots, to actually watch over me. Whatever. This is where, well, he stabbed the sword into the ground, the rapid sword, because he doesn't know who the hell it is. And of course, goes up to his own sword, the black sword, grabs it, even though he feels the sinister energy. And it right now turns into blue flames and goes into his body. Then disappearing in an instant, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei sighs and says, well, should probably start kind of going then. Well, my date was ruined. I probably couldn't even get what's it called, Yuma to kiss me. Or whatever her name was entirely. Whatever. Fuck it. I don't give a damn too much. Should probably be going home. Besides, this is my last day in this human world. Can't wait to finally become a Shinigami. Fuck this life. Gonna become a Shinigami. This is where Issei is walking away with just a happy, cheerful grin. And of course, he just doesn't care no more. This is where everyone is confused because they hear the words that Issei is basically singing. And basically, they're hearing that Issei is going to become a Shinigami. Which that just translates to being a Soul Reaper, but they're confused. This is where, well, Issei said, well, other than that, should probably be going. I feel very tired. I feel like passing out. This is where he falls down to the ground and says, holy shit, okay. I didn't feel, well, I didn't actually feel my body being too tired. Fuck. Damn, I feel very tired. Issei falls down to the ground and says, yeah, I feel very heavy. Never mind. Maybe I should lay down here for a second. But then again, devils could always appear. I don't want any devils being anywhere near me. They're always creepy as hell. This is where, well, Issei is basically just calling out the devils that being creepy as hell. Now, Issei can't sense him, and of course, Drake is still kind of sealed. But that's not the point here and there. And this is where, well, Drake would kind of tell his partner about there being devils, but he can't actually kind of talk to him because Issei has the sacred gear kind of still a little bit. So, yeah, that's the thing. This is where, oh, Issei feels another kind of pressure. Another, what's it called, kind of like spiritual pressure appearing next to him. And this time it's actually, well, a hollow actually appearing out of nowhere. Issei gets his phone ring and say, shit, I'm gonna die to a low ranking hollow. Fuck. This is where, well, the hollow was about to kind of grab Issei until a blue arrow smashes into the hollow, right now destroying it in an instant. This is where a beauty actually appears. A beautiful kind of woman appears with kind of like longish, blackish, kind of like blackish yet brownish hair. And of course, where, well, she has basically this beautiful kind of body. And this is where, well, she kind of just looks down. She has kind of a halo, but it's not really a halo. It's kind of this like symbol. So mostly she would look like this entirely, but yeah. So this is who exactly appears. It's basically somewhat of a Quincy / Strider or whatever the hell it's called, but yeah. This is where, well, she kind of has this like bow and arrow, kind of looking like a cross or whatever, but yeah. This is where, well, she appears, and this is where, well, she kind of has a little smirking grin on her face, and says, oh, hey there, Issei-kun. It's been a while. This is where she kind of has a little smirk on her face, and this is where, well, Issei says, oh, hey there, what's it called? This is where, well, he says, oh, hey, Yuri. This is where, well, Issei kind of tries to stand up a little bit, but of course he was about to fall back down again until, well, Yuri managed to catch him and says, you idiot. Look how hurt you are, and look how tired you are. You are about to die to a low-ranking hollow. It's quite sad, don't you think? This is where, well, Issei said, it is quite sad, isn't it? Huh. Well, luckily my beautiful girlfriend is here to actually, well, see me off before I kind of just die or actually become a true Shinigami. This is where, well, Issei puts his like hand next to hers, even though if it's kind of shaking, a little bit tired. This is where, well, she decides to lean in closer, even though mostly Issei's a little bit taller than her. And this is where, well, mostly they both kind of like kiss. And this is where people are kind of watching this. And this is where, well, basically they can't sense him, but they are just seeing this. And this is where Rainer is just shocked to believe that Issei actually has someone else. This is where, well, she felt kind of heartbroken a little bit. And this is where, well, and someone else is actually watching this, mostly a devil, and being a devil error since she was not expecting this person to appear. This is where, well, someone with orange hair just seeing this, and she is kind of crushed a little bit. Issei kind of kisses her. Of course, they're basically sharing a bit of reality together, because mostly that's what she's actually doing. She's transferring some reality into his body, so he won't just fucking walk and just die, but yeah. This is where Yuri says, are you fine? This is where, well, he just says, yeah, I'm okay. Thanks for that kiss, beautiful. This is where, well, Yuri kind of just hits him in the, what's it called, arm and says, don't call me that, idiot. This is where she's blushing a little bit. And this is where Issei kind of chuckles and says, yeah, I guess you would hate it the fact if I die and actually become a true Soul Reaper. Then I guess we wouldn't be able to be together, since you're basically human in Quincy. This is where, well, mostly Yuri says, of course, idiot. But that's not the point here or there. So, what happened to get so hurt and beaten up so easily? Well, a lot of things. Maybe I'll tell you. Maybe if you come to my house. He says with such a kind of joyful kind of little grin. Of course, mostly her face becomes a little red and saying, I'll go to your house, but no prepared shit, okay? He says, I won't do anything. Besides, I don't have the plastic rubber things to do anything. This is where he just made a teasing joke. And this is where, well, mostly Yuri's face becomes a little red and says, Issei! This is where, well, Issei kind of chuckles and says, oh, come on, let's just go to my house. Don't worry, I'll tell you everything and what happened. This is where Issei is just kind of walking backwards to kind of just look at her and kind of smiles. And this is where, well, mostly she sighs and just decides to follow him. This is where, well, everyone is watching this, and of course they're confused to even know what Issei entirely is. Mostly they are kind of just talking. Those two people seem to be quite friendly with each other. Seems to be like long friends or even mostly lovers for a second. This is where, well, everyone is confused who is watching this. Mostly Sona is right now furiously, mostly sending this bloodlust kind of trying to contain some bloodlust towards mostly this person. And of course, mostly some other people are saying bloodlust. But yeah, this is where, well, mostly white-haired girl kind of says, I wasn't expecting my sister to get angry too fast against your false boyfriend. This is where, well, mostly Rainer glares at mostly this person and says, shut up, Valerie. This is where, well, Valerie sighs and says, let's just go already. Besides, I saved you and you're not dying anytime soon, okay? Let's already go. This is where Rainer says, fine. She gets kind of tsundere and decides to fly away with mostly Valerie, but yeah. But this is where we go into someone kind of like recording this, the whole thing. Now, of course, it ain't a human, but actually it's supernatural. And they are actually thinking it to putting it on the supernatural kind of like a web, kind of like a, it's basically the social media for like the supernatural. And of course, they are actually thinking of putting it in there, but yeah. But we go back into Issei's POV. Back into, well, his house. We're getting to his house, but yeah. Other than that, I'm going to leave it off here for part 3. For some reason, my stomach was hurting the whole damn time. So I'm going to be going. I'm probably going to destroy the bathroom, but not the point. Or probably whatever's happening. I did not eat Taco Bell, but my stomach's really hurting like a bitch for a second. Ugh. Well, other than that, bye. See you, and yeah, bye. I would have made this a 1 hour long video, but I couldn't. So, bye. See ya.